Hello, everybody. I think that light is a little too bright. Let me go ahead and just kill that one. That's better. I'm a little bit of a dark mood here. I want to be in the sketch cave, right? So, welcome back to SketchCraft. I'm Rob Duenas, and we are getting back to some sense of normalcy here at SketchCraft. Getting settled in. Joining me tonight is Brandon Lead Heavy James. Brandon, say hello.
Hello.
Perfect. So,
That
Brandon,
that light was like, ah.
I have to have multiple. The lighting here is very different than it used to be. So you should see what
It's
it's like
nice.
when the top light's on. Like,
Just a white blur on the screen.
yeah, well, like I said, that being, as you're gonna see here, pretty quickly, we're gonna be doing a speed draw tonight. So I've already got a videos lined up, and as soon as Brandon can get caught up on the stream, then I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. But to preface this a little bit, so I just moved here from Idaho 2 months ago, 2 months, and it's taken 2 months to get everything sort of kind of working. Like I just now got my wireless printer that I use for, I have a laser printer just for labels and shipping. I finally got the network to register that again. That was a fucking nightmare. So I got my print room and my packing station almost set up. It's like the station is almost complete, which is funny because I'm actually listening to the audiobook for Star Wars Catalyst, which is the prequel to
Huh?
Rogue One. So as they're constructing the Death Star, like I'm constructing, like So it's good times. Now, right before I left, little story. I got hit up by a publisher over at Retro Magazine, people that I've done the covers for. They had a side project they wanted me to do a cover. He's like, "Hey Rob, can you draw? You got any like Megaman art lying around?" And I was like, "Not really. I mean, I have some little tiny Megaman sketches, no real Megaman art." He's like, "Well, specifically for Megaman 2," and I'm like, "Not really. Why?" And he's like, "Well, we're gonna produce this. They're gonna produce a cheat code book to coincide with the launch of the NES Classic, which is this little mini NES that you can find on eBay for $500. And sadly, um, and they wanted to produce a classic cheat code book and wanted to have like a Mega Man 2 cover. And I'm like, I could draw you some Mega Man 2. I could just like Mega Man. And he's like, yeah, it'll be like 5.5 by 8.5, real digest size. I'm like, well, if we just keep it to Mega Man and maybe one bad guy, then that can be done because I'm moving. And so I really had like a week to kind of get this put together. And then he said, well, let me get back to you. So he got back to me like one day. He's like, yeah, we can totally do that. I'm like, perfect. Now, here's the deal. I took this as a challenge to draw the Mega Man by hand and to see if I could just go ahead and color that kind of what I call roughy lines, so the final product for me personally, I'm so on. The cover looks fine for what printed, and they're happy with it. And I don't want to be like, I don't like it. Creatively, a lot of things went into this. Now, you're going to notice if I show this over here really quickly. Let's go over to the final art.
And it's not even like
This is the final.
just to interject there. It's not even like you don't like it. You critique all your art. It's not just like
I'm
one
very
piece.
I'm very critical.
Yeah.
So this is what I drew. It turns out that Capcom needed to approve this art. Now, and I told them this. I said, if I had known that from the beginning, I would have turned this project down.
Right.
Working with Japanese licensors, I just like it's difficult. I just had something that I did that I can't even announce. I drew in January. It took 9 months to get approved by a Japanese developer. Brandon, you've seen it. 9 months.
Yes. Yes. It's great. I love it. And I'm sad that I haven't seen it out there. Like I would want a copy of it because I like it. And it
So
sucks.
I don't know. And so I just didn't want to go through that process again. So the final piece that they ended up doing, they had me change Mega Man's face. They didn't like this face. They said he needed to look more like a boy. I mean, I don't know about you. That doesn't really look like a big dude to me.
No, it looks like
So I don't know, man. I ended up just giving them a face that they already drew. Like I just took one of their faces and put it on there because I didn't have any time.
Right.
I literally drew this in like 90 minutes. You know, this whole
Didn't you draw
piece.
like the night before you had to pack up your Cintiq?
Yeah, I drew this and colored it in. Drew in about 90 minutes. Took a break. Colored it in about another hour, and was under 4 hours total, and then went off. Now I'm not what you would call a digital painter. I know people seem like my digital art backgrounds and stuff. I'm not like that guy who's going to produce that League of Legends art that y'all love. Like, that's not me. You know, like,
Right.
I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not even going to fucking bother attempting to be that guy. So, I really wish I had more time on the coloring side on this. But because I've held off even sharing this because, like, I'm like, do I even want to get into this story? You know, but the publisher was really nice. It's just one of those things, you know, you take on a job and sometimes you're like, you know, if I were like a famous director and like this was like the Mega Man movie, it'd be like the Mega Man director was unhappy with the film. You're like, well, I mean, you know, that's not, I mean, as opposed to what? When George Lucas is proud of the prequels, you know, like when he's just carrying a cup of coffee, walking around going, it's all great. You know, this is wonderful. You know, like, so, I wish, I wish this was a piece that I could have taken to the next step, you know, or if I
Right.
had a colorist that was just better. I mean, look, I'm not a great colorist. Like I'm a competent colorist, but there are people who can take the shitty line art and render the fuck out of it.
Right.
You know, like that's not me. Like I'm like a somewhere in between artist. I'm like kind of a good penciler, you know, at a pro level, kind of a good colorist at a pro level. You know, I'm not like super fucking illustrator Jim Lee dude. You know, Sean Gordon Murphy, Greg Capullo. And I'm not super fucking colorist like Blonde or what's that guy that does FCO FICO? What's the guy that does like the Batman comics? You know what I mean?
Um.
FCO, right? He
Yeah.
did
I can't
Spawn
think
and
of it. Right.
or even the Udon dudes, man, like Roboto and those dudes. Like so, I'm somewhere in between. You know. Anyhow, but let's see how we get to this and then I'll go through the remainder of this project. Let me show you how I arrived at this really quick. So I actually started in color, and I initially thought, well, since it's going to be like a Mega Man 2 cover, I thought I can give him some roughies that would look like a Mega Man 2 cover, literally like same
Right.
kind of
Yep.
border. And I dropped in a little retro magazine, like basic logo. And then I thought, would it be cool if he's like fighting? Because I think they wanted me to say fight the yellow dude, which is the Yellow Devil. I think that's his name.
Oh, I don't even remember it.
Yeah. So in the game, like you fight him before you get to the Wily's castle. So I thought, well, maybe this will be like one where he's charging at the bad guy, and there's a castle up here. I gave him that idea, which they didn't like, and then I gave him this real retro version. Oh, they also needed a logo, so I had to kind of make up a logo too. So I just made this one based on the
To make it
Nintendo
look
Power.
like the old the game shit. What
Nintendo
was that?
Power strategy guides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I gave him this one, which is based off the initial Mega Man, the original Mega Man kind of like cover style. Like a little Nintendo Seal quality thing for the retro magazine. And this would just be him like blasting, and there'd be like the Yellow Devil behind him. And then this is really based off like this is the same color scheme as the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide, where I thought it'd be kind of cool to make Mega Man kind of small, and you just see this giant fucking, you know. So I gave them those three, and they liked uh, two and one. They wanted me to mix this one and this one. So
The one where he's holding them though is pretty epic. You know, it's a pretty cool scene. You know, I liked it.
I guess it doesn't say
But
Mega Man enough to them. So,
yeah.
so this is what I did here: is I mixed the two, kept the kind of chromey logo, which they didn't like. So we can go to the next version. Then the paint started. So I got asked, "Hey, you think you could put some game screens on the cover too?" And I'm like, "Really? You know, like, does it need screens?" He's like, "Yeah, and just some three screens, and then it'll say like cheat codes." So I just dropped some screens here. Figure, okay, at least it'll give me a chance to like align the art up a little bit better. So I gave him three options with the screens and the text. So this was me dropping screens in, dropping four screens, and then no screens, which I prefer. Um, Then they liked the 4 screens, and you can see here I shrunk the bad guy down and made Mega Man bigger, and I put cheats to, this is what they wanted. And I'm like, that kind of works. And then I went and drew a roughie over that, and then went to go draw Mega Man. This is the final piece. Which, the color's all right. It's okay. It's not my favorite job in the world, but it got the job done. And still wish that's what was printed. This is what it looks like without a logo. And then I added a stroke around them. Thought that would look a little better. And then I made a nice crafty version, which I thought would be even cooler, which I actually really like. I'm finding that with the traditional lines, I think the limited color schemes work better than the rendered color for me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe my tastes are changing here, artistically. But I really like this. I wish the whole book looked like this, but I could not convince them to do that. So this is the final piece that got done. I had them put in their own screens. They turned out they wanted me to they wanted me to list every game that the NES Classic is going to do on top of 4 screens, plus
every
tips and
game.
tricks. Every game. And I'm like, guys, I just don't know how to. This is, I can't do that. I can't do it. I don't understand. And this face I hate. I had to use their stupid fucking. Look, it's fine. That's the art that Mega Man came with back in the day, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's not my art anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Franken cover.
It's a mashup.
It's like, I can't even take credit for it, dude. Like, I don't like it. Don't like it, Sam. So I get that this right here, I based this face. It gets a little stylized. I could have given him a nose or done whatever. I tried to make it look like the 1-ups in the game. You know what I mean? Like, and so I probably would just take the nose piece off entirely, this little nose line, if I could, and just leave it white.
Yeah.
And call it a day, dude. Had I had a chance to kind of redraw and re-ink it, I probably would have worked the face up a little more, but I don't know, man. It's neither here nor there. It's not a big difference between the two. And to be fair, the publisher didn't understand what Mega Man, Capcom's fucking problem is. But, man, I really do like that. So, but that's just me, guys, like, it's the way it goes. It's just part of doing freelance. In the meantime, let's take a look at the speed video so we can at least see what happens when Rob draws really, really fast. So when you can see the video set up, you let me know, Brandon.
Okay.
You have any questions about that whole process or comments on it?
No, I think, it sucks sometimes when you're not given all the information when you start a project, and I've had that happen before when I had to do a map for a book and then you had to come in and help me because, I wasn't given all the information. So,
yeah, to be fair, the publisher didn't really have, all the info. So whatever.
Yeah. And
the guy that I was working with a secondary partner that was also licensing through Capcom. So that's like, when Deadpool is like, it's a something and a something and a something. Like,
yeah.
It's like, who am I talking to here? And then I have to hear like, so-and-so's art director, what would I have done to Hector X? What would I have done differently if I had known? I would have just said no. And I did say no the first time. They offered me more money. And I was like, it's not even a matter of that. That's nice. I appreciate the money. But I just know with more money comes more responsibility, like. So, you ready?
Yeah, it's ready.
All right, so this right here, you can see I printed out my light roughie, and then I'm just drawing here on, this is, I think this is actually B marker paper. I think it was all I had available to me at the time. And I'm just drawing with red mechanical pencil lead and Copic multi-liners, which has sort of become my go-to thing. So, my goal here isn't that I'm trying to draw this completely with the red pencil, too. It's I'm kind of like rendering out the shapes and working out the construction. The face a little bit more than normal. Really is to get the whole thing kind of drawn with the pens. And in many ways, I consider it my first pass. Like, if this were a comic, then that'd be all I'd do, and be like, "Good luck, colorist." Uh, hook it up, don't, whatever. I don't care. I will let you know. Like normally in these jobs, when you're being paid to draw, that's all you're being paid to do. You don't have any input on anything else. And when you do work with the colorists, so colorists are coloring multiple books or projects simultaneously. They're not just working on your one thing like you are. So, it's unfair to ask them to constantly do shit. But here I'm drawing with the Copic multiliner 0.03. I like it because I like to add like little details and seam lines, and it almost feels like I'm chiseling in the pieces. Does that make any
Hmm.
sense, Brandon? Like you're kind of
Yeah,
carving
I
into it.
mean, you got your rough lighter pencils, but the construction really comes together when you start inking because you're so used to making confident lines that you build these shapes up with the pen, and once you do that, it's there. They're built and they look good. As to where someone like me, who's more of a novice artist, I guess, would want to ink it and then lower the transparency on the inks and then go back and ink it again a second time because or straighten lines or edit. So
Well, for something super detailed like the Final Fantasy VII piece that I'm working on, it'll get another like digital ink pass when it's like
mhm.
super. Like if it's super cover art, that for cover art, I think it needs it. So, but hat to the back, Rob. Yeah, this is my old camera setup. I have a newer camera setup, but I do like to add these little like it's harder to see, but there's little like chisel lines up in here. There's little like seam lines and little crevices, little nooks and bits and little like tech things I'll add in there. Um, does it look blurry?
That was more for the viewers. Yeah, on my screen when I'm watching it, the far right of the screen has like a little speed line blur
That's
look to it.
that's just OBS acting like a motherfucker.
Okay,
Let's see if
I
I
just wanted to
can.
make sure it was in
Let's see
mine or
if I
anything.
can. Here, let's try that.
Hector said, yeah.
Welcome to the limitations of OBS, everybody. So I thought we could stream it while I there.
There we go.
There's
Perfect.
just you got
Yeah,
me. You got me.
that's fine. It's got the black borders. It looks good.
We're trying to do it live, you know. But you can see here, like I'm actually like completing the shapes and drawing around. I'm still doing the little mini construction lines,
Yeah.
so I still am working out the shape. I guess if I was a better artist, I'd get more like the ellipse tools and make these things all perfect. But man, when when you read manga, their shit ain't always perfect. You know what I mean?
No.
Especially the Mega Man
No.
mangas, dude. Like those are just drawn. So I just cite on the imperfections.
Yeah. And it just when you start to use too many tools and building blocks and stuff, it starts to look fake. It's like when people use
Well, some people
too
pull it
much.
off well. Sean Gordon Murphy pulls out those ellipses pretty well, but
Yeah, but
we can't all
he's
be
a
we can't all be him, right?
yeah.
Like, sometimes you just got to be like,
I know my limitations.
80%. What was it? Uh, Finish not perfect. Is that Jake Parker uses that a lot? But I'm trying to add like extra little like just rivets and stuff, sort of like a cross between Mega Man 2 and like Mega Man Legends. I always liked the way he was constructed in the Mega Man Legends games. So um, it's just kind of funny, like since this summer, like this this way of drawing sort of picked up for me. I don't know why. And now this red shade is really so. I'm shading with the red so that I kind of like use that as my lighting guide. What I used to do was when I would get done inking, I'd scan it in and then do like a shade guide in Photoshop, kind of like. But then I'm like, I'm doing this shit fucking twice, and it doesn't really help much. So it's easier for me to do the shading here and then drop the red out when I scan the lines in. Although
Hmm.
now, when I do like the really cool noir look, I leave the red textures in, and I'm like, there's my shading, motherfucker.
Right.
So developing my own look here. Look, he's got a nice little crotch piece in case he gets kicked in the mega groin, right? Like gets a mega
Like
nards
a
hit.
right.
Yeah,
Explodes into a million pieces.
right.
I like it. It's like a nice mix of the older look with a little bit of Mega Man Legends.
I mean, I was trying not to just give them, the classic, like here's Rob drawing Chamba's fucking Mega
Yeah.
Man, like I don't know.
where everything's rounded and shapes and stuff. It's just not. There's no.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that's like troubles you when you draw this shit anymore? Is there anything like you go like, oh man, knee pads? I gotta really.
No, those are
Is there?
fun. No,
I mean,
no,
there's not.
not really. You know, like hands, I kind of stress over, not because they're hard, just because I want to make certain that they
They
work.
look right.
Yeah, I mean, like when it's a big mega dude, you know, big fist, that's not a big deal. You know, like when I'm drawing females, I want to make sure their hands, you know, don't have man hands, you know, as much as possible.
Right.
I make sure the face, I just stress on the faces, which is why I try to work the faces out even before, you know, I get to this stage. That being said, there's another reason why I'm also like doing these random sketches at midnight and shit,
Uh
so
huh.
that I can just practice. Sometimes you're not gonna have time. It's gonna have to be some fucking face, man. Like draw the face, you know. So, uh, no, I don't really stress over this. What gets me a little bit stressed out is just when it has to be done, like in 90 minutes,
Right.
you know. I didn't grow up with the era where they were like, I mean, in the 80s, it was like you could draw 7 pages a day, but did you see the art in most comic books back in the day? Like, it wasn't that great. Like, you know, like, say what you want
Yeah.
about Jack Kirby, that's not complicated art. You know, it's designed so you can draw a lot of pages. And then they added all this complicated art in the mid 70s and into the 80s, and then by the early 90s. And then it was like maybe you could do a page a day, but they were selling like millions of copies a month. Now, you know, like it's like you got to draw fast. Now it's crazy. Computers are drawing half the books, and you know, somebody would probably model this whole fucking thing in SketchUp and just marionette them, and or they would just redraw current Mega Man and put their name on it. You know, which seems to happen a lot. I could just redraw, you know, some piece of Capcom art and say I made it. So that would be fucking annoying. This part's fun, man. I enjoy drawing these little extra details. You don't really see them once they're colored. When it's over colored. That's why I like the minimal coloring. I'm trying to find
Right.
somewhere between like, you know, Mondo and old school comic book coloring, you know, just because it allows the line arts to be shown a little better. So, and then save the super clean coloring for when I have super clean lines. If that makes any sense. But yeah,
If
see,
you would
hands.
you ever do your own like Mega Man, or do you think since you've done the Mighty Nine and you've done this that you don't really need to tackle it or try it?
No, I plan on it just after Game Cave Volume One's done.
All right. I remember you did the head sketches, part of the Kickstarter where you did the random.
Well, they're kind of like
Uh,
semi figures, but yeah, I mean that's not really. You know,
right. Oh yeah, yeah. There was. I remember now. Yeah, the
yeah,
semi figures.
yeah, they were little
Um,
5x7s, you know.
yeah. Still cool though. I forget. You've done so much stuff that sometimes when I'm like, "Hey, when are you gonna do this?" I'm like, "Oh shit, you already did that 2 years ago."
I had one guy
Like,
the other day ask me, he's like, "When are you gonna draw Judge Dredd?" I'm like, "I already did." He's like, "Ah, you fucked the face up." I'm like, "Thanks for that, man. I
right,
appreciate it." All right. Well, I mean, really, he was like, "Oh, your face is all fucked up." I'm like, "Wonderful," you know.
right. Like, I mean, what he should have said is, you should ask him, "Well, what artist faces do you want me to
No,
draw?"
no, no,
Like,
no, no.
let's.
He's like the giant Glenn Fabry fucking. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know if I'm the same guy you're looking for. So
Right.
this part's fun, adding a little shade. Although now I'm trying to add like the base shade with a thicker red lead than my small
Hmm.
mechanical one, just because chews up a lot of fucking mechanical lead. So this is where I took a break. Oh yeah, now I add the thick outline, right? That's my cheap ass way of fucking trying to like do thick and thin. I'm no good with the brush pen. You know that shit that like the creature box guys do?
Hmm.
Never gonna happen with me. This is never gonna happen. I don't get the brush thing. I like it. I just my mind doesn't get that. So we just have to manually add these giant thick ass fucking lines. Same way I do it digitally, right? Same thing. Yeah, Joey in the chat goes, fucking superstar artist. Ruin it for everybody. You know what sucks, man, is when I see them recolor. We're gonna go over in the next podcast we do, man. But they're gonna do this re-release of the Eric Larson Spider-Man stuff. It's an omnibus, and they
Uh-huh.
recolored his shit all rendered. It's fucking horrible.
Really?
It's bad, dude.
Why?
It's so bad. Like they need to get the Mondo guys who understand 4 or 5 color palettes, to
Uh-huh.
do that because when they super fucking render that shit, it's horrible. So so I'm just using a combination of Sharpie here, Sharpie pen, which they're really nice. As long as you don't have to use Copics over it, they'll work. If you got to do Copics, only use Copic multiliners because they're Copic proof. Any questions about inking or drawing, Brandon? Or
Do you ever smear with your hand, or are you just so used to
no, no,
turning the
no.
page
This
that you
doesn't
don't ever
smear. The
smear?
red lead doesn't smear.
Oh, okay.
It's not even lead. It's like
Well, I'm
colored.
just saying with the inks, the
No, they
microns or anything,
dry.
it
They
never.
dry super fast, dude. Like they instantly dry.
Okay.
And I use like a scratchier paper, so it's toothier, so it's never wet. So I don't have to worry about it.
And did you ever use the shade with blue or anything like that? Because I know a lot of artists will
Yeah,
draw with the
go look at the
blue because
Judge
it.
Red. Yeah, that's blue. I just prefer the red. Looks cooler. If it's on your wall, what are you gonna see? Plus SketchCraft red, I guess. Although now I don't know. Maybe the whole. I don't know. Like I always just like the red lead. Like it's what I used to. It's weird because remember when we were doing like old Rob art? There's all those
Mhm.
sketches from when I was in, you know, college and I was drawing with red lead and ink. But that was just because that's what we had. Like the store had coal erase pencils and they were red. So I guess I just got used to it. It's irrelevant what color it is. You're using Photoshop. You can be drawing with green pencil. You just take the green and get rid of the green. It's not hard.
Yeah.
I just like the look of the red.
I like how the viewers are having a nice little chat in the chat room about who's the real Hector, who's the real
I know
one.
there's multiple hectares. So
Um, you said the drawing on paper part took 90 minutes.
between 90 minutes and 2 hours, so give or take 30 minutes. There
Is
was
this
a
sped
break.
up at 12 times or?
Yeah, this is like why it's like 15 minutes, dude. Or this thing is like
Uh,
19 minutes, something like that. It's super fast.
it's not bad.
Super fast.
Did you use like your own photo hand reference for this fist, or you just that's a good
No,
fist that you
man,
got?
it's a big shape. I cut the fingers out. No time for that. It's cartoon fist. No time for any reference, bro. Like just big blocky fingers, dude. You know, in t-shirts, I used to call them chocolate chunks. You ever can see those 4x4 monster truck shirts with the big rocks coming off? I used to
Yeah.
call them chocolate chunks. So those are chocolate chunk fingers. Big shapes. And big shapes are. This is why I was telling you, Brandon. You got to fall in love with the construction. See how fun these little shapes are. Like that big yellow devil back there, you can see how the construction goes all the way through. Even though those lines aren't going to be kept into the final image, the dome is three-dimensional. And I'm carving out the eye piece. Like all those construction shapes, like you gotta that's the part that I personally end up like really falling like into. Like that's what I'm like, when you're doing design isn't like how you're rendering nose, it's playing with shapes, proportioned shapes, fat, thin, long, you know, contrasting these giant big hand, with the little thin bicep, you know,
Right.
and then big chocolate chunk fingers.
And when they write up the contract or something, or
I don't
give you a
sign
thing, do they?
contracts.
All right. Well, when they
Yeah.
when they when they hit you up for this, and you send them the roughies, um, do they try giving you pointers like, oh, can you add this to the big guy or make his eye look any different, or did they just? Because I know the face they changed because
Not
the other people.
no, and that's why I work with people that generally just trust, you know.
Hmm.
So when I do, that's why if I'd known Capcom was going to have a hand in it, I would have just not done it, because I knew they would have stressed over the faces. So this predates Incredibles though, right? Like by 20 years. It's like I posted this picture of the Violator today, and someone was like, "It looks like Sea God from League of Legends." I'm like, and at the time, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I looked it up. I'm like, oh yeah. And it's like, yeah, okay. So Violators from 1992. So you know where they got their ideas from. Yeah. So this really has to be drawn super fast. Like I drew this guy so quick. It's not even funny. You know. And at this point, like I literally have Metallica on in my headset.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They're just rocking out, going to town.
Push a nice Pokeball on Mega Man's chest. I know, right? I mean, look, if I had my way and he's fighting the Yellow Devil, I could have had like the Yellow Devil having ooze dripping around him, throwing him around. Like, there's all sorts of things you can do, but you know, on a cover, it's almost like it's just placing elements.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very flat, very sort of more iconic, I suppose would be the word for it. I like drawing the little folds around where the palms of the hand meet the wrist. I like drawing that shit. Like this palm of the hand, this stuff which people find very difficult for some reason. I like that, the meaty parts of the palm. It makes things feel more. When artists fuck that up, it can fuck a drawing up. Actually, like pretty.
Really?
It's weird, dude. Yeah, if you ever notice when they goof it up, the hands look really weird.
I'll, I'll have to like really, look for it now that you
Yeah,
said
some
it.
that's
It's
some
kind of one
higher
of those
level
things,
shit. You know, so when you get a little more into it, you like start looking for that. Oh, like they fucked the palms. They don't know what they're doing. Huh? If you really wanted to make it iconic, then wait for the wise ass comment. Here we go.
Here it comes from Joey. Better make it good, Joey. Joey said, if you wanted to make it really iconic, Rob.
Well, so you know, like I am working on some. I'm going to work on some templates and try to get the chat to like run through this thing.
He said, you should have drawn the battle with
Oh,
the pause glitch.
yeah, I know, right?
Then Crusher says, is this, quote, Mega Boy?
Yeah. No, this is the too old version. I drew his face too old. He looks too old. Or no, he's too young. He had to look more like a man. Was that what they said? Yeah, he did look like a. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they're like,
I
hey
can't remember what they
man, this
said.
guy looks like he could drink. Can you tone it down with the wrinkles and
Yeah,
the
he did
facial
look more like a
hair?
boy. I'm like, but his name is Man. Like, I don't. But he doesn't look like a man. I don't fucking know, man. Like, you know what? I've deleted a lot of the bullshit from my head, guys. I'm not even that great with stories. Sometimes, like when it's a real nightmare story like this, where I'm like, I don't want to do this. Really, it came down to just the move too,
He's
man. You
he's a
imagine wanting to draw this
man.
shit and move your whole fucking house the next day, man? Like,
he- He's a boy, but he considers himself a man.
well, let's just be honest. It's Astro Boy, you know.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, Doctor Light, Doctor whatever. So the Shade sells the drawings. I gotta put this shit up for sale too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you sell this already?
No, I didn't have time. They took the store down. So I'm gonna get the store up here in another week or so. I got prints coming in. So around the 28th, by the first I should have the store back up. I'm gonna put this shit in there so I can get rid of it. And if not, it'll go right into the next. Uh, it'll go right into the next Kickstarter, you know.
Right.
So I'll move the stuff one way or the other. You're always playing around with that giant thick line. Like, how thick the line can you make it? You know, before it's too big a thick a line. Too big a thick a line. I don't know. I like a giant thick line. Looks cool. Yeah, it's not
I like it.
realistic.
It makes it pop out more, And since you do it, I do it now. So
Yeah, you have no choice.
yeah. Crusher says, if I'm not in the poorhouse, I may get this one.
I know, right?
Well, there you go. Better get it, Crusher, before it's gone.
Still, you figuring out how I'm gonna get the consistent thick line around there. I'm still messing around with the pen I want to use for that. Haven't settled on it. Hey, Karen.
Hello, Karen.
So, moving forward, man, like it's just the goal is to get more of the speed videos up. So I got everything kind of working now. Shading the little fingers here. See, they look more three-dimensional now. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a big difference. This is really
You know,
simple. Just place the
it
light
really,
above or below something, by the way.
right.
It's very complicated. It's very complicated.
And yeah. And like normally, if the hand is coming closer to you, you would do the lines thicker, right? Because it's just popping. It makes it pop out more at you. Like you
Sure.
would never go like thin lines, right? If something's closer to you,
I don't know.
or
Sure,
could you?
why not? I don't know. I guess
Well,
not, but I
thank you for
mean,
answering that question
you
so
say
in depth,
never.
Rob. Thank you.
I say never, never do it. Then I go do it, and they go, "Look, you did that." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I did." You know, seems like the things that are, thicker would be closer to you, but I don't know. Depends. If it looks wrong,
Well,
it looks wrong. There are no giant thick lines in real life, Brandon. So it's hard to say.
yeah. What am I thinking realistically here? This is art. Art is
Yeah.
magic.
And there you go. So we can get into really quickly. Let's get back to the final little bit. You can see like kinds of little lines that are in there, and stuff's super rough, But when it gets printed, I think the thing to remember too is this: if I draw it at 11 by 17, it gets usually printed 6 by 10, right? It's comic book
Hmm.
size, or even 8.5 by 11. Things get compressed down. Um, in this case, it was 8.5 by 5.5. Yeah. So this is the version I would have used, but not the version we got, folks. And then that's when they made me change the voice. So I don't know, man. It worked out. The project's done. The cheap book, it's fine. The book looks dope. You know, I wish they would continue to make more like cheat code books and stuff. I just don't want to have anything to do with fitting 50 fucking. I mean, look at all the words, man. Like, what's up with that? Like, I'm like, why do you need to put all the games right there? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see, but it's like tips and tricks, 30 classic NES games, and it lists all 25,
You
26,
lost the
27,
whole
28,
hand.
29.
You lost the whole hand.
Yeah,
The
I
whole
know. Yeah, this
hand's
all
gone.
got cut off, so you can't even see any of it. At the end of the day. So I'm with you, Hector. I have my personal favorites, but whatever. You know, you come. It comes and goes. I don't want to keep this going an hour. Brad, is there anything you want to bring up? Is there anything we haven't talked about? Anything?
No. If I take anything from this is make sure you, if you can, get all the information from someone when they ask you to do a job. And if you feel like you're not capable or it'll just be a pain in the ass, don't do it. There's always more money and there's always other jobs out there.
Right, and then also too, Joey says that he loves the art at this stage. Not sure why the combination of finish lines and construction lines. So I'm with you. Like I want to get back to the way comics were colored, even up to the early '90s before computers really took over. The line work used to be so detailed that the colors were limited to 4 colors, right? 4 to 8 colors. That look exists now. It just exists like Mondo's probably the only one doing it. You know, where you can really see the lines. So I'm not trying to ape their look, which usually they're tracing over photos or whatever. But there's something about letting the lines sort of speak for you. And when I see them recolor art, especially like Jim Lee's X-Men, right? When they recolor and they airbrush and render the shit out of it, it's like like McFarlane's Spider-Man. Like his perspective isn't perfect, but it really works in the way it was drawn, in the way it was colored. But when they go and render every little fucking hand, we're gonna do a whole thing on this. I'm gonna do a specific fucking podcast just on this. I'm gonna come with tons of examples because it drives me absolutely fucking crazy. Like it
Right.
does. And then they go, see, their art sucked. I'm like, I can't. I've seen what that art looks like up close. That's not true. You know what I mean? And I've seen what modern comics, for the most part, look like up close. If you go to cons, you can go see art collectors who buy up art. Now, there's some great people like Scott Campbell, Jim Lee, Humberto Ramos, even like newer artists, dude, like Megan Hetrick. Her shit's dope. But then
Hmm.
there's all this other stuff that is like, it's just not as good as you might think it was. And I know because not only have I seen it up close at cons, working on licenses like at Marvel and DC, you get the art in high res and you get to zoom in and go, this is really fucked up. It's not that good, you know? And then when you delete the color and the lines left over and you put it on a shirt, it don't sell. Like it doesn't even, it doesn't
Right.
hold up, And that's because of just the way the world works now.
Right.
So
And Karen says, "Oh my God, I am with you on this, Rob. Rendered, cut, and grad can ruin old school stuff."
can and does,
Oh yeah.
period. So I just feel, like the example here is between this and, even this version, I'll roll with this any day of the week. There's another way to do this where I can make it more glowy. Absolutely. There's other things I can do. But this sort of set me down a path too, It doesn't even have to be textured with the craft paper, but I like it.
Oh yeah.
And if that makes, life simpler for Rob, then perfect. But anyways, folks, this has been a really fun speed draw. It's therapeutic. Hopefully, I didn't piss off
You
any
sound so happy. Hey guys, like, this is that shit, whatever.
stressed out
Yeah.
again, right? No, I'm cool, guys. If you have any questions or
Holidays, man.
comments, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Um, I will be working this week. Matter of fact, I'm going to be back on shortly to work on something. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I had a plan. Tomorrow, I could tell you tomorrow, it's going to be amazing, right? Tomorrow we're going to be working on Final Fantasy VII and Batman for certain. Finally getting back to
Woot
work.
woot.
We'll see what I'm up to tonight. That being said, folks, thank you very much. Brandon, where can people find you on the internet?
Best place to find me is just Instagram at leadheavy, LEAD heavy.
And as always, you can just leave the comments below for you future crafties. I will answer. You can email me directly, all the contacts, Rob at SketchCraft. We'll talk to you very soon. Peace, everybody. Happy Turkey
Bye-bye.
Day.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Brandon's gonna eat a lot of mega sweet potatoes. Yeah.